let's get to it. Generate talent back here again. We're ranking the number 15 to 19 receivers in the NFL in Dynasty Fantasy Football. You see their ages to the right. All receivers here, and if you have one of these guys, you feel pretty confident going into the year, depending obviously what the rest of the roster looks like. But there's a huge tier break here, and let me just get it out of the way. BTJ, Mr. T-Rex himself, going over the middle, pulling his hands back, just making Trevor Lawrence look bad, like he always has. There's never been a connection here. Brian Thomas Jr. put up his rookie numbers, in which he was actually the highest graded wide receiver rookie in the last 3 years. Per PFF, he had a 90.0 rating, whereas Ladd McConkey on this list had an 85.5. So Brian Thomas Jr., a tale of two cities, right? We had the first one where he was amazing, second one where he was less than impressive. I just saw him pull his hands back over the middle too many times last year. So now I'm thinking those routes over the middle, he's not going to give his all. There's a tier break here, okay? These four receivers ahead of Brian Thomas Jr. and by a pretty significant margin here. So Brian Thomas Jr., I'm not buying. There's never been a connection with Trevor Lawrence. He was really good with Mac Jones. We don't have Mac Jones in Jacksonville. Jacksonville hasn't traded Brian Thomas Jr. I don't even know how much I'd like a trade now. I thought the Niners would be a great spot for BTJ, but now the Niners have kind of loaded up on receivers, Mike Evans and Christian Kirk, so that's not an option. I don't know where BTJ could go and his situation would get better. Sorry, Travis Hunter fans, it might be over. Coming in at number 19 is T. Higgins, and yes, age does have a lot to do with this. T. Higgins, a great number 2 receiver. We've yet to see if he could really hold down number 1 wide receiver duties for a team, because he's always been on a team with Jamar Chase, who's the alpha in the whole NFL, not only just on the Bengals. Higgins had 11 touchdowns this year. That's like second or third, and I just don't think that's sustainable. So I think there's a little drop-off in Higgins here. He's still at the prime age of 27. Working with Joe Burrow is going to be a positive thing as long as he's in there. I love T. Higgins here, and believe me, there's a huge line in the sand between Higgins and Thomas Jr., but I just love these other 3 guys more than Higgins. But Higgins in a great spot. He could produce as a number 2 receiver. As long as he's in Cincy next to Jamar Chase, he's going to get his targets. I do think the drop-off in touchdowns is probably going to happen from 11 down to maybe 7 or 8. Coming in at number 18, we have Luther Burden. And with Luther Burden, this is more of a recency bias. I think there's a lot of people that watch the playoffs at the end of the season that love Luther Burden, missed the first half of the year where he was getting acclimated to the offense. And I think Luther Burden is actually a sell candidate right now. His value is just super high. 22 years old. I mean, you're going to love him on a rebuilding roster. You're going to love him on a competing roster. I just think you can get a lot out of the name to squeeze the orange right now and get the juice. Okay. With Luther Burden, I do think he's a number 2 receiver on the Bears. I know a lot of people are going to have their debates. You also have Colston Loveland in that offense. So with that, I'm putting Luther Burden down at number 18 in this list. Next up, we have Ladd McConkey. I do like Ladd McConkey. I've been getting him all off season. I just feel like his value is more in the buy range, where he hasn't really gotten that full respect he had from his rookie year. He did have the sophomore wall, which might play Luther Burden as well. So McConkey went through a sophomore wall. I think he's back to business under Mike McDaniel and the Chargers offense. I think it's going to be very fruitful for him. He's also one of my favorite receivers in terms of like the type of play. I want the receptions. Give me 6 to 7 receptions. If this could be a Cooper Kupp, and I'm not just saying that because of skin color. If this could be a Cooper Kupp where we're getting a bunch of receptions and making our way that way where we don't have to be touchdown reliant, I'm loving Ladd McConkey here on that type of wave. Doesn't have to catch the real deep ones. Let's just get it in volume, baby. 6 to 7 receptions, and we're eating regardless. So Ladd McConkey coming in at number 16 on the list here. And coming in at 15, we have Rome Odunze. I love Rome Odunze. He's from the Vegas area. He played for Bishop Gorman. I am as well. This kid, top, 15 pick at least in the draft. He's got heavy draft capital following him. He's getting yacked in the gym. I've seen a couple videos recently on X, and I just think this is an alpha for the Bears and Caleb Williams. I think it's going to be a very fruitful season, and lucky for you, he had a pretty bad second half of the year. He was great the first half of the year. You could put him in the top 7 fantasy wide receivers, but then the second half of the year hit, and the thing is, he played on the injury. So while it looked like he was ineffective, I think that's a great opportunity to really pounce on the Rome shares now from everyone that remembers the end of the season in the playoffs where he was playing injured. One thing I don't love about this guy's dad talks like LeVar Ball. He's always saying something in the media. While it worked, I guess, for the Ball family, I don't know if it's going to work here for Rome Odunze. I think Pop should just kind of sit back and watch. His son's a hell of a player. And I do think the top of the list here, Rome Odunze, a lot to look forward to this year. I think he's maybe going to make his way into that top 12, which would be a wide receiver 1 option here. But currently, 15 on this list on the Fantasy Flock rankings. So there you have it. Ryan Thomas Jr. coming in at number 19, Higgins 18, Burden 17, McConkey 16, and Odunze 15. But there is a tier break between Higgins and Thomas Jr. I don't want to get it twisted. I'd much rather have these top 4 guys rather than the last. With the trade possibly looming, you don't know where he's going. I don't love the spot he's in right now. Thomas Jr. is an easy one to sell for me. I also think Burden's a sell option just with the name notoriety and everyone watching the playoffs and seeing this guy spaz. I think his value's a little overcooked right now. But there should be some easier buys in Odunze and McConkey, who had kind of an off year last year. Odunze more of just a second half, but McConkey had an off year compared to his rookie year. T. Higgins is sneaky, always going to be the number 2, always going to be the bridesmaid, never the bride, but he puts up great numbers as the bridesmaid, and we love him for it. So there it is. That's 15 through 19 Dynasty Fantasy Football wide receiver rankings. Enjoy. See you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Peace. Who do you guys have? Out of these 5 receivers, who would you put at number 1 here? Talk soon.